Cornelia Stradwick is coming into this show. She's normally on Flex's show. But she's gonna come in and do this show today. She should be around 4:40, 4:45. All right, thanks, bro. What's up with you?
Not much. Just laughing at what I saw on my way here and laughing at your topic too. Because some people just get along no matter what life throw at them.
You feel me?
I was on my way here and took a picture of this couple spooning.
I'm tired of you.
I'm
Because
just
you always
saying.
cutting up.
They did it. I didn't do it.
And as the comedian that you are,
I couldn't help it.
you couldn't help it.
I just had to take a picture of that moment. Like, nigga, if we lived in a box and I love you, nigga, we was that low of life.
Testing 1, 2. What up? Your boy Zoe Williams is in the building. You in the dig? I just want to see what's cracking. Get the sound check popping. Make sure the volume is right. The last time I was here, everybody was like, oh, the volume is terrible. It's too low. Let's make sure that the volume is right. So we'll do that right now. Somebody talk to me.
Talk.
1, 2, 1, 2. I'm hearing a little feedback. Oh, he turned on all the mics. The volume is right. That's why. He turned on all the mics.
Turn your life down, John.
He turned on every mic. 1, 2, 1, 2.
There we go. That's better. I couldn't hear in both ears, and you know how I be fucking up during the show. So I was like, let me get it together early.
You do be fucking up.
I know, but it don't be me.
1, 2, 1, 2.
It doesn't be me all the time. A wardrobe person would be happy today. They would come in and go, oh, I don't need to change anything. You know how they be sitting you according to your color?
Oh, yeah. Woo! It's about to go down, ladies and gentlemen. The voice of reason is about to go live. I'm doing a quick sound check to make sure everything sounds right. Tonight's topic, Black Love Wars. A deeper look at relationship disharmony. Why can't black men and women get along? Oh, shit. Let's do it. Yeesh. How you coming here with a little skirt on? You trying to flirt, my nigga?
Hey, I just be doing this sometimes. Being sexy.
Do insecure people marry other insecure motherfuckers? Wow. Shit about to be lit right now. Mimi gonna be here. This is gonna be an interesting little mix.
Whoever your barber is,
Interesting little mix of people. Don't forget to hit the super chat. Don't forget to hit the like, the share. You know, dig? Liking, sharing, all of that. It's important that it gets done early and often. My mods and admins in the chat room, I need you guys to help me promote it. I need you guys to help me thank everybody. You know what I mean? I need your help. Because I be missing. What up? You made it. It's about to be crazy.
Nice to meet you.
You can sit anywhere. That's the chair you
I
normally
like your
sit.
hair.
Cornelia Stradwick just joined the fray. Shit about to be crazy, ladies and gentlemen. So YouTube, I want you guys to hit the like button, the share
No,
button.
the whole show.
Y'all gotta do that for your boy. Let me see, VOR topic. I'm putting in the topic for y'all right now. We gonna get it right.
Would you like an alto? Yeah. The microphone will tell everybody that comes after you.
Wow.
It does.
I got you.
Girl, sometimes I walk on stage behind comics and be like, for real, nigga?
You do know you live on YouTube. Right? Yeah, so
Well,
keep telling
they
people.
understand. Y'all understand about the funky breaths?
We live on YouTube right now. They in here talking and chatting. Oh, let me say this. Hey, Alonzo Benz, shout out Sheboygan, Wisconsin, just dropped $10. We'll take
Thank
it.
you.
We'll take it.
Alonzo.
Alonzo Benz from Sheboygan,
Where the hell is your boy?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
How far is that from Milwaukee?
I don't know. How far is that from Milwaukee, bruh? Okay, we got a clean shot of Cornelia. She's in there.
Hey, talking about these cheap ass. That's what we get ready to talk about.
Ooh.
I kid.
It's about to be crazy. I can
kid.
already tell.
We talking about these cheap ass.
Miss Lips
Hi,
is in
I'm
there.
Miss Lips. Oh,
Hi, Miss Lips.
Good.
How are you?
now you better be on your best behavior. If I don't see Kimberly today, I'm gonna be mad.
What y'all be doing in here? What you going on in here?
Stay in character.
What be
If I
happening?
don't
You want me
see,
to be emotional?
if I don't see Kimberly, I gotta see her at least once or twice. No, I don't want to see you cry. And
You know I miss my kids.
Kimberly gets emotional. God damn you, Kimberly.
Why you do that, Zoe?
I'm a Libra.
Oh,
Are
Lord.
Libras emotional?
They do get emotional. My mother used to, every birthday, she would cry. I'd be like, for real? I didn't have no
They in the
siblings.
chat room going in on Cornelia.
What they say?
God damn, she bad.
Oh, Lord.
Ah, they on her
They
already.
already, they go crazy. in
They
the chat
own
room.
you already, girl.
Hey, fresh me, girl.
This shit is live, so it's about to be crazy.
And he got the camera right on you.
He scooch off to the side now.
Why she
If he
tripping?
scooch
Yes,
off
I
to the
dry
side.
snitched. He got the camera all in your face, girl.
Don't
He scooch
trip.
over here.
Don't trip. Look, it's not in there.
Okay.
What are you talking about? I'm gonna put the camera on you.
No, I was looking at
Hey,
it.
right,
Boom.
right over here.
There you go. Now the camera's on you.
No, it's not.
So I want you to talk to these niggas. Now that the camera's on you, then you want to be a snitch.
Hi. Miss
snitch,
Lips
girl.
fixing her titties, y'all. Look, that's how you throw the direction.
Hey, Brown.
It's on you now. Don't just be.
Y'all, Zoe had about, how many of these you have today? Okay, so you already know what's about to go down in this studio tonight. We about to be off the chain. We got new blood in the house.
Guess who else coming?
Ooh.
Tone Talks.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be going. We about to get philosophical.
It's the data machine.
She called him the data machine.
He got
He's like he's like the architect.
One of those.
The numbers.
He's the
One
architect.
of them. Well, actually,
Yes.
No, he'll say the statistics say
Oh.
He get deep with it, but he know his shit, though.
Yeah,
You gotta respect
If
him.
you got a 10
He know
inch,
it.
It's a whole.
If he didn't
the
know,
problem is lower than 6 inch.
I'd
Here we
have
go.
this.
Well, here we go. I asked for Kimberly, goddammit.
Oh.
That is Kimberly. Kimberly is way worse.
Oh, damn.
Okay, well then never mind.
Keep her in your pocket, cause Miss Lips.
You don't know what no lipstick.
Somebody said this show about to be fire. Tone finna be on this hoe. Tone finna be in this hoe. They tripping. Mimi gonna be here.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna have to scoot over.
Where the fuck is Phil? We gotta get a couple more chairs.
Oh, maybe I should keep my earphones. Huh? We gonna need some more headsets.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
Unless you just want to hear the music and well, yeah, you want to hear the phone.
Yeah. That's kind of my point of being here.
Voice of no reason.
The unreasonable voice. What's up, chat room? It's about to go down, y'all. Y'all can follow us too, you know. I'm Donnie Keith. Yes, they can hear you.
Oh, okay. What's up, chat room?
They can hear everything. They can see everything. It's about to go down. Zoe's getting it together for y'all. The topic about to be lit. Him and these topics. Y'all don't know. I get like 15 messages about the topic, each question. So don't be shy tonight. Call in with your bullshit.
Mimi, Tone.
323-230-4610. The smell of booty breath.
Leave us.
They need this and about 5 of those.
All right, so really quickly, Cornelia, how this runs is first 10, maybe 7 to 10 minutes, I promote products, different websites, and usually black-owned businesses. And then I intro the topic. Now, this is her problem. After I intro the topic, I usually rattle off a bunch of framing questions. So the temptation is to answer the question. Don't answer the question.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
just sit there and be like, oh, yeah, that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah, just forget the question.
Don't forget the question. Don't ever. Right.
Because he gonna ask you again.
He gonna ask you
again. Right. But if there's a particular question that kind of, speaks to a wheelhouse of knowledge, kind of write it down, and you can always go back to it, And then after we get into it, I usually throw it to callers. The phone lines are usually pretty popping when the phones are working properly. But when they're working properly, the phones be,
lit up.
Okay.
Be good. Then we take, I think I go maybe 15, and then we take a break. Sometimes to reset the show, I'll play one of those intros.
He likes to hear his theme music. It's dope though. It's dope. It's funky. If you're a beat junkie, you're gonna love it.
Yes.
Cause I be in here like percussions is sick, nigga. I'll be forgetting we are here sometimes. Like, damn, who played that? Like, it's just dope. If it was whack, I'd be like this. I'd be sitting here quiet. That's how you get me quiet, though. Play a whack beat. He can't do it. It's not in him to do it, so I'll never have to be quiet.
Wait, hold on. He's in here talking shit about the homegirl Veronica.
What they say?
No, it's men in here gossiping like little girls.
Well, who said that gossiping
They
was
said
only
they
relegated
said
to
Zoe
women?
tried to holla at Veronica, and that's why she ain't been on the show. You see that? Veronica is one of my peoples. Like,
Zoe is a gentleman, you guys.
they don't understand.
Totally.
Gosh. They
We
always
don't
ask me about me.
have a clue what Zoe be up to.
And like how you start with I miss Veronica. I'm gonna put this nigga on a timeout. Here we go. Where is this at? Put user in timeout. Let's do that. That's nice, isn't it? Then he gets to come back after 300 seconds.
We
Oh, this shit about to be
feeling
crazy.
better.
I'm
familiar.
Hi,
Oh, little titty girl. I'm
That's
just
all right.
saying
That's all right. Titty action and shit. I like titty action.
Just motorboated.
Hi, you again.
Hey.
That was funny from last night.
And Tone Talks gonna show up.
Hi.
What up, baby girl?
My titty moved the mic out the way.
Titty meat.
All right.
Yeah, hands off, young lady.
I need some headphones.
Miss Lips was violating me the whole show.
Yeah.
He.
Oh, your titty girl, big old titties.
Miss
Proud.
Lips.
What?
Titty meat and them lips.
Look, I'm looking at your ass like the principal.
Oh, don't do that, because my principal wanted to holler.
Oh my goodness.
You like what you talking about? The principal got fucked.
Nah, the principal didn't get fucked. I was always classy.
All right, so listen, YouTube, hit the like button, hit the share button. We're gonna get started in 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes before showtime. Today's topic, Jesus, Black Love Wars. A deeper look at relationship disharmony in the Black community. Oh fuck! You put your granny glasses on, my
Yes,
nigga?
I sure did. That is
Tone
great. You cannot hide
Talks.
your
Zada!
Yeah.
So we need extra headphones?
age. Here, I got mine.
Can we get some more cans too?
Oh, you got some, Tom?
I need
Okay.
one.
Here, you can.
This shit about to be litification.
Okay. Thank you.
Can we get 2 more headphones?
Oh.
We might need some splitters. Could you please? I'd appreciate it. We got 3 minutes. Phil will be back. I purchased your book off of Amazon, Zoe. Glad I did. But I was looking for your first book that was mentioned.
On the relationship dismount.
The Relationship Dismount is my second book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Rebirth of Seeds is his first.
Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, I knew that it's so.
Okay, cool.
Rebirth of seed.
Yeah, his baby picture on the picture. On the book.
Interesting.
I sent you this already. Look at that perfect meter.
Tone Talks is it here? It's about to go down.
Tone Talks.
Zoda.
Lord.
I need this down a little bit.
I was calling you the architect. Hey, this accepts the knowledge,
You could turn the mics down just a little. Just leave mine up. 1, 2, 1, 2. We got 2 minutes before showtime. We got a crowded room. Hold on. Don't worry about me being in the camera. Let's make sure everybody else is in the shot. I got my homeboy Tone Talks, Cornelia Stradwick, Mimi, Michelle Dukes, and of course, Miss Lips and Peaches. What's up? He can sit in that back room on the couch. Be good. I mean, if he with Mimi, he good. You know what it is? Who? Oh, yeah. He can sit back there. 60 seconds. Philly.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss a woman's ass. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams.
Reason and accountability.
The voice of reason. Hey, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Back in the building. It's Friday. So you already know I got to end the week with a bang. We got a full house. Let me just go around the table real quick before I start to promote anything. My homeboy, Antonio Moore, attorney at law.
Hi.
In the building, a.k.a. Tone Talks. You already know his show is going to come on right after mine, live, upstairs in Studio B. You know? Tone Talks, man, he's a cold motherfucker.
Yes, he is.
Shut your mouth.
Hush your mouth.
What up, Zoe?
What's happening, P?
Known as Zoda around these parts.
Lord Zoda. Okay. Next to Tone Talks. You know what? They got a real dope show. If you not hip, Zoe, this is a way I could promote the shows that I've put on, right? Zoe has given actor and comedian Flex Alexander a show.
Dope.
She, Cornelia Stradwick, is one of his co-hosts. They have a dope-ass show on Thursday.
It's pretty good, you know. Check it out Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Here.
Yeah, it is.
On the
Dash
station.
Talk.
All right, Cornelia.
What's up, y'all?
Comedian, journalist, educated, young, fine, single.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm out here. I dibble dabble. I dibble dabble. No ashies, though. If you ashy, just whatever.
No ashy. Okay,
Yeah.
it's about to be crazy to the
I feel
motherfucker
that,
tonight.
girl. Yeah.
And then next to her is one of our OGs. You already know the OG, gorgeous, intelligent, got her own motherfucking radio show. Mimi Dukes keeping it real with Mimi.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah. And then next to her, irreverent, wild, unpredictable. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen, what is going to be said. Anything could. See? Right on cue.
Oh, shoot.
Fucking Miss Lips is in the building.
She busting in
Hey, y'all.
And then next to her, comedian. Well, Miss Lips is a comedian too.
That is right. Thank you.
And then right next to her, OG legend. I like, people who've been in the game for a while.
Thank you.
Donnie Keith, a.k.a. Peaches.
What up, y'all?
This shit about to be crazy than a motherfucker. So let me just rattle through what I got to promote. Right now, you got to go get a copy of my, this is the last book I wrote. The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship, is now available on Amazon.com in paperback form, as well as the digital Kindle form. But I'm pushing the paperback because I want it to trend, all right? So go to Amazon.com, search The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship, written by Zoe Williams. You will find it on Amazon.com. I am no longer responsible for mailing shit out to you. Now Amazon got it. Now I make considerably less, but that's fine. It's really not fine. Just go to Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com. Get your copy right now. I'd appreciate it. Also, this shit is blowing up. This shit here?
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
This shit here?
Don't
listen.
play.
This shit here? Listen.
Got my copy.
Me and Kevin Nash of KJLH, we are getting ready to put together the first of its kind at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood. It's a play and it's a lecture.
Dope.
Okay.
So here's the thing. It's going to be relationships. The Battle of OKC just dropped $100 in the super chat on the live
Thank
YouTube.
you.
Jesus, keep it
OKC.
popping then.
Okay, see, don't be
He
playing.
don't bullshit.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey,
brother.
follow me.
Y'all got LeBron too, you know.
But let me just say, the show is going to be relationship based, and we are gathering myself, Dr. Alan Berger, probably Dr. Mark Goulston. We're going to get a bunch of black female clinicians, relationship clinicians, and we're going to tackle real relationship issues. But in between the real dialogue between the specialists, the topics will be acted out.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this shit's about to be
like an improv show /
this June.
Okay.
It's gonna be nuts.
That sounds hot.
Me and Kevin Nash.
That's right.
It's a cold situation that we got cracking. And this CD is what prompted it. Kevin Nash got my CD and was like, Zoe, what the fuck have you done?
That's right.
This CD right here, Love Matters Revealed. Myself and Dr. Alan Berger cover relationships in a way you've never heard it before. We challenge all outdated old beliefs. We challenge unforgiveness. We challenge trauma and coping and all types of bullshit. Man, this is a cold ass CD. If you haven't heard it yet, you better get it. Who in here heard? I know Tone, you've heard it.
I've heard it 3 times.
Okay,
Is it
at
that
least.
good? Okay.
No, it's phenomenal. Really, I've listened to it 3 times.
It's a
I'm
cold
not even.
situation. All right.
It's bomb. I keep it in my deck in my car.
Yes.
You understand?
I've listened to it quite often while I paint.
You got to tell us you had to listen to it 3 times, Tone. You shining?
Right.
You
No,
trying to brown nose it?
Let me give you a note.
Something on your nose.
Let me give you a note. Let me give you a note
I
from it.
listened to it 3
You ready?
times.
Relationship is a highly reflective classroom where the feedback you get from your partner is your personal curriculum. Come on.
Jesus. All right.
Get it.
Yo, you got something
He
on your
quoting
nose.
shit.
The brown. It's something brown on your
Show
nose.
off.
You gotta learn from Zoe.
Show off. No.
Oh,
Nah, it's
I heard it 3 times.
That's
Okay,
natural.
I get it. We get it, Tone.
No, seriously, it's a cold situation. It's a cold situation. Go to my website, IamZoeWilliams.com, and order your copy today. I just mailed off about 20 copies this morning.
awesome.
So if you guys want a copy, you better get it now because I will sell out. The other thing I need to promote is the shit I'm high off of right now. God damn it, Total Package Energy. If you don't get a bottle of this shit right here, nigga, this Total Package Energy land, nigga. I'm sorry. If you don't get some of this is the best energy shot in the fucking game. Nobody's better than them. I'm sorry. And I've had them all. 5 Hour Energy, the shit that give you wings, all that shit is nothing compared to Total Package Energy. Nothing. I promise you. Go to Total Package Energy, tell them Zoe Williams sent you, and they're going to take good care of you. All right?
Dope.
All right, let me see. Oh, I'm wearing Android Ohm shoes. I got on the Python embossed boots. Some
Now you showing off.
Luxury sneaker brand. Black-owned company. Black-owned business here.
Yes,
Android Ohm. Android like the phone. Ohm, HOMME.com. AndroidOhm.com. Go there right now. You put in my name, Z.O. Williams. You will get 25% off of all of their luxury sneaker brand. I mean, they sell in the same place you get Gucci and Prada, and, you know, they're selling all over the world, but I just felt like we needed to bring, you know, the attention of this company to black folks so they could understand that there's a black-owned business out there that has a luxury sneaker brand that is made in Italy, handmade in the same factories as your Gucci's and all of that, and white folk are buying them.
Awesome.
So I just felt like they needed some shine on that. So.
That's right.
You under dig?
Okay. When you add when white folks is buying them,
white folks is buying them.
But why wouldn't they? They take everything else we
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I be walking around in their shoes. White people be like, those are Android Ohms.
That's right. They
Yeah,
recognize
of course they
the
know.
game.
Niggas be like, what are those?
Right.
Right. That part.
Niggas is the last to figure shit out.
All right, so look. All the promoting is done. Now it's time for the real motherfucking deal. Real deal. Here, let me get the mood right. Let's get the mood right, niggas.
What we gonna do, yoga?
Okay, we all matching in here, shit.
I know, right? What is up with all the red today?
Hey,
We flamed up.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk Radio. Zoe Williams is in the building. The hotline number to dial is 323-230-4610. That's 323-230-4610. Today's topic. Fuck. Came from a sister. Sister wanted to ask me this shit. You know, most of my topics come from sisters. Sister came to me and said, okay, you got to do a show called Black Love Wars. A deeper look at relationship disharmony. Why can't black men and women get along in relationship? And so she sent me a whole shitload of questions. I got questions, ladies and gentlemen. When your relationships are feeling like they are out of sync and you don't like the way someone is behaving towards you, how often do you think, if only they'd act in a certain way, everything would be great? In other words, pointing the finger, blaming. Okay, cool. Questions. What's the number one thing black men misinterpret about black women? Ooh. And vice versa? I mean, we misinterpret a lot of shit. I know I'm a man. I done miss so much shit. I don't know. So, and I'm interested to know what women miss, because y'all miss shit too.
Yep, clues.
Okay. All right, cool. What's your definition of compromise? What's your definition of consideration? True or false? In order for black men and women to achieve relationship bliss, we must begin to think interdependently versus codependently and or independently. Oh, shit. I know. These shows are pretty well produced.
Yes, they are. Might I add.
We got questions. Get to your phone
wonder
line.
why.
The number to dial is 323-230-4610. I want to hear from you. Is money/wealth the biggest reason there's so much discord between brothers and sisters? Well, I'm just going to toss it in there right now.
You don't throw it in there like hot meat, though.
I know.
Make sure it's cold when it hits the stage. Go start a hyena fest.
Yeah, like ravenous dogs up in this bitch.
Are you the cause of the relationship disharmony in your marriage, in your long-term relationship? Here we go. I'm going to start with Cornelia.
Yes.
Okay, give me which one? There was 72 questions though. There was 72 questions. Which one? Right, as long as he gave 72 thesis statements.
This is what I love about Cornelia.
Defended his dissertation just now. Let me. Where we start?
She's a comedian, and this is great because I did tell her what we were going to do before the show, so she should know. But that's all right. I'm going to ask you the basic question.
Okay.
Why do you think there's so much discord between black men and black women? Go.
Who said that there was so much discourse? That's my question. Because
I like it. Answering a question with one. That's beautiful.
well, you can't answer that until you figure out where this came from. Because if you talk about relationships across any demographics, there's going to be battles because two people are supposedly merging their lives together and creating this family or this harmony situation. So I don't really buy into that there's so much discourse in black relationships. I think because we are black people and because we are living those lives in real time, that it's magnified for us because that's our world and that's what we know.
Nice.
Our aunties are black, our uncles are black, our best friends are black. So we see it and we're like, it's black people. We always got these issues. No. Everybody does. So I don't really think there's so much discourse.
Mm-hmm.
I think now because we have new angles of issues and drama, it may seem like a lot. Like you got now people feeling like they have more options than they used to because of social media.
Yeah.
Like
and
it.
being able to reach back and connect with Lakeisha from high school on Facebook. You know what I mean? So I think that it may be a little more magnified, but I don't think there's so much discourse. But if you want to narrow it down, why? Because we're human. And in order to make a relationship work, you're gonna have to go through the fire. I don't think that any relationship, well, some may be, be good all the time, but if you want something to work, you gotta work for it. If I were a track star and I wanted to go to the Olympics, me training for 20 years out of my life wouldn't be roses the entire time I'm training. I might twist my ankle, I might stub my toe, get turf toe. You never know.
You're gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna hit your legs on the hurdles more than a few times. So, I just think that it's just a natural progression of relationships.
Oh, grown up.
I mean, that was long-winded, but I don't.
It was hella long, but it's
I'm
cool.
sorry.
Oops. Mimi, what's the beef about?
I feel like in relationships that people bring their old baggage with them. So they come into a relationship and they bring things that happened in the previous relationship and they never got over those things and they put up walls and boundaries and this better not happen this time and this person better not do X, Y, Z. And because they have these expectations, I think off the top, they're already causing some type of turmoil because they're not even expressing these things to the person.
Right.
They act like the person already knows about these things. Therefore, and they're not expressing to the person how they're feeling when things are happening.
Yeah.
So therefore, things are becoming a problem without them seeing the problem. You know what I mean? They feel as if, hey, I'm right and this person is wrong. Not even looking in the mirror saying, hey, I'm wrong for bringing this into the relationship. This is not John, this is Tim. But I'm bringing the relationship problems with John into the relationship with Tim. Therefore, I'm not even giving Tim a chance to show me who Tim is because I'm thinking about John the whole time. He better not do what John did. That nigga got me fucked up type shit.
Right.
Jerome.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerome, not Jerome.
Right.
Why can't be John?
Rashad.
Shaquan.
Khalil.
Right.
Theotis.
Mustafa.
Jehoshaphat.
Ezekiel.
Corinthians, nigga.
Hey, Peaches.
Oh, I just knew you was going to Miss Lips.
Don't ever try to know what I'm gonna do. Just don't ever try to do that.
I think the biggest problem in relationships is money.
Here we go.
I mean, money and your damn kids. That be the problem. Because kids cost money. I mean, they do. Kids play sports. My son played the most expensive sport, tennis, The balls ain't cheap. Restricting rackets. You need a job at Sports Chalet, nigga. But I think money is the biggest problem, period. Because people can't get along well enough to discuss what they need to do about their money situation. First, you have to communicate about the problem with the money. You got to know if you're the spender or if you're the person that's gonna be the provider. And in every relationship, unfortunately, in Black relationships, women have this power role in their head already. So it's hard for a man to discuss his finances with her because he already like, this bitch gonna be on one. I'm just gonna break it down in Donnie terms for you. That's about all I have to say about that.
Miss Lips?
I go by auras.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Here we go.
my tarot cards. So
Lord.
I sure do.
She pulled out tarot
I go by
cards.
zodiac signs. I don't get along with certain zodiac signs. I'm a Libra. I go by that. I go by
Hey, it's a couple on the list.
Hey, Miss Lips, I'm a Scorpio.
She like all of y'all.
I don't fuck with you.
I'm a Scorpio
But
too.
I'm gonna get you a bottle though.
Look, I'm a Scorpio too, and my best friend is Libra. So
yeah.
Scorpio's crazy.
I got it.
So that's my thing. I'm just going with it. God I'm just going with the flow.
All right, Tone Talks, let's clean all of this shit up.
Ladies,
Can we talk about the real crux?
No, but a week ago, New York Times came out with an article. It was titled, I wanted to get it right, because a bunch of people text me at 7 a.m. and I had to get in the New York Times to change the title. Sons of rich Black families fare no better than sons of working class whites. And it was basically like this thing that kind of showed that Black women and white women, when you normalize for background, make about the same in wages.
Mm-hmm.
But Black men make considerably less than their white counterparts when you normalize for wages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, part of what I think we're seeing is that our era is socialized to be very interested and ego-driven, where we don't understand ourselves in context of time or the world around us. We can just do anything. And a part of that is because of hip-hop and a number of other things where we saw people who weren't that educated
Different social game
get
rules.
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But the point I'm gonna make is, what I go back to is in 1955, you look at something like Fences, the woman was a maid and the dude was a shoe shineman. We come home and talk about being called a nigga.
yeah.
And I think what has started to happen now is the woman is a professional and the guy is fresh out. And so what ends up, and people might say that's extreme, but it's real. It's becoming like normal in some variation.
And of course, there's degrees of it. Right.
Well, 1 in 5 Black men didn't work a day in 2016.
Yeah.
So what you end up with is that you end up in this dynamic where Black women are saying, "What Blackness are you talking about? It's okay for me," subtly, sometimes overtly.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up with this Black dude that is very angry about a world that is not offering him the tools to be a man.
How about it?
Church.
And so you got these two people in a room and they just frustrated with each other, but really frustrated with being in America and being Black in America.
And this is where the conflict is actually coming from.
Yeah.
Black women have a little bit more agency than Black men.
But it's the only group that you see that, possibly even in the world.
Now, speak to that.
I mean, when you look at this thing, I mean, fundamentally, you look at Asians, you look at Latinos, you look at all these different groups, it doesn't invert the way it does here. Black women, I think, make 63 cents on the dollar to every white man, and Black men are supposed to be at 67 cents. Well, the problem is 10% of Black men are incarcerated, which are making $1 and $2 an hour. Right. And normally you don't use that in wages because they're not that percentage. No group is at 10%. Most groups are at like 0.3, But when you add that 10% in, we're making about the same. We're the only group that kind of flats out. But if we're making the same, then why are dudes paying for dates?
Exactly.
If we're making the same and we both come from slavery, why am I expected to provide a house? If we're making the same, why am I supposed to be mimicked against a white man who is receiving inheritance and all the privileges of oppression?
So you're saying the conflict comes from black women's desire for black men to provide and,
Let me say this,
and have
on my-
agency like white men.
I'll give a little pushback on that because my channel, what I find is it's not just black women.
Thank you. It's white women too.
No, let me give you the surprise answer. It's black men themselves. So what you find is that black men walk through the door with a belief that I'm supposed to provide. And then they can't, and then they're frustrated that they can't. So, and then there's also the side with women saying that you're supposed to provide. So you got two people in the house living on a lottery ticket of a dream. And then when that lottery ticket comes up like empty, it's finger pointing.
Right.
That's just what I see.
So now you're saying, and then I'll throw it to you for sure, because this is what has to happen when the host of the show is asking questions. It is designed to rattle cages. But
It's
When
all
she
right.
cut
He
your
know-
DMV,
he
cut
know-
your license.
He know I'm gonna be right back on this mic in a minute. It's
no.
okay.
But I think what you're saying is somebody's got some, or both groups have an outdated belief, an outdated perspective of what relationships are supposed to be circa 2018.
Yo, absolutely. And it's funny because one of your actual concepts in your CD that was real powerful was you got to check your beliefs and see whether there's a expiration date.
How about it?
Right.
And I think
Okay,
that
that's right.
for a lot of
Track
us,
3.
what happens is, this is my only pushback to saying that white folks have the same problems as us. There's a class like level in white America that doesn't exist in black America, and most black Americans just don't know. In this country, we come back to the reality that there's only 380,000 millionaires that are black, and they're mostly at 1.1, 1.2, and they're old. But we all use the word like we all gonna become millionaires. When do we realize that most of us, almost all of us, pretty much all of us, will not be millionaires in this lifetime? And what are we gonna do instead of that? And I just come to that in the context of white America because some of them are already millionaires.
Are you saying we can't make do without having the things that all the rich people have?
No, I'm saying to you that fundamentally during wealth calcification, what's happening is people that are millionaires are already millionaires now.
Right.
And so like they already have they're waiting, they might be waiting for grandma to pass away. They might be, but like this reality of the 90s black self-made high school dropout millionaire has left a long shadow in terms of like black people's ideas of what their potential is. And as a result, you get a lot of frustrated people in homes.
Cornelia Stradwick.
So if I'm not mistaken, you're pretty much saying that in summary, a piece of what you said, because of the life circumstances that some black men have went through, black women in turn have to recalculate and readjust, even if those circumstances are not our own. We have to minimize our expectation in relationships because X, Y, and Z may have been locked up and incarcerated, and now outside he has been released, and now is dealing with this. So I have to adjust my expectation, my life goals because of his circumstance.
Oh, this is good.
And I guess my thing would be go back and listen to what I said. Because what I said,
clearly we can't replay it.
No, I'm talking about when you actually go back and sit down, it'll show you how like that became catty when actually what I said is black men themselves walk in the room with that frustration. So to jump over that and go right to something that I didn't really say just starts off the frustration. I'm saying that black men and black women, black families have started off with a concept of wealth that doesn't match the reality of the data. And so what happens is we're frustrated with each other instead of being frustrated at the oppression that's pointed at us, black men, black women. But you do see that the system is giving some advantageous positioning to black women. I don't know how long that's going to last.
You think it's going to change?
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
So to me, this is very high level. When I hear issues with the relationships and discourse and miscommunication and struggles within the black family, I put it into my perspective. The people that I date aren't coming out of jail. My circle is similar to me.
Right.
So when I think about it, I'm thinking, okay, we both are out in the world as black people. We deal with struggles every day. This is Hollywood. It's only two of us in every room of 1,000. It ain't many of us out here. So my expectation for men has less to do, or the way I'm treated, or our issues has less to do with finances and more so maybe things like ego or upbringing, relationships with your parents, baggage, those things. So I can't personally, not attacking you, I can't relate to that per se.
That's
interesting.
So
my perspective is that's all well and good, but for other couples or families dealing with their issues, what's the issue with that? Because my issue isn't discourse, financial, and the hardships that Black men and women deal with out in the real world. That's not what I'm dealing with.
I like that. Tone.
And this is just the thing that I say is, again, I just deal with just the reality of what the national data is, not aberrations. We live in Los Angeles. What you find is that the top 20% of Black families we have 2.6% of the wealth. We've talked about this before. Top 20% of Black families have almost like 90% of that. They're all old. Young Black families are living on nearly no wealth across this nation.
Check to check.
Right. And so, like, you can be with a dude that look good and go on auditions, but he negative. He negative in terms of wealth. and so I'm not using a floor of a dude that's fresh out of prison. I know I use that example as an extreme, but I'm saying generally speaking, you can look at three dudes that look clean and all of them don't have no wealth though.
Oh yeah.
And so like structurally, we don't have those conversations because they are uncomfortable in terms of like, is your grandma gonna leave you some money? Do you have a relationship? And I'm just saying in a lot of ways, I think we kind of disassociate. See, this is part of the reason that we have so much discord in terms of our relationships or our frustrations is we disassociate legacy. We look at life very individual.
Yeah.
And so like once you get down into that legacy and you scratch that first layer, almost all Black people be having a lot of issue. Even the ones in Ladera that don't talk to their cousins over there on the east side.
Right.
You know?
Or they cousins down the street.
But you know what? I think you both are right.
Cousins in the house.
Cornelia, she outlined something that, of course, all relationships suffer from. You know, the ego, consideration, respect, trauma, emotional baggage, all of that. That's what I call the spiritual template for a relationship. Okay. Meaning, if I am attracted to this person and I have these issues unresolved within myself, the purpose of relating with this person is to untie those knots.
Yeah.
Carl Jung said 90% of your unresolved issues are coming from the unconscious, but they're trying to come into the conscious through relationship conflict so that they may be resolved. So that's your iceberg, metaphor where, you see the tip of the iceberg, but then in the subconscious underneath, there's the full body of the iceberg. That's the spiritual movement of why we relate. But what Tone is talking about is the social construct that exacerbates the spiritual work that actually needs to get done. If we can't rub 2 packs of ramen noodle together, I'm just saying, like even with the children, you look at the 70% out of wedlock children rate, you don't need to get what I'm saying. Then you look at 70% of African American women are not married. Then you look at the number one indicator of wealth in America is marriage. Then you look at the number one indicator of poverty in America is divorce. Then you look at the 50% rate of divorce. Do you get what I'm saying? The social template is the thing that exacerbates the spiritual school that relationship is. So I agree with Tone on this side of it. You can't insulate and isolate yourself from that as a group.
Right.
Because the system sees you as a group, regardless if we see each other as a group. Right. Blacks in America do this. Blacks in America spend this. Blacks in America do this.
And then also, Zoe, I call us the reparations generation. If you look at like the boomers and then you look at Generation X, it was kind of like you could see somebody daddy over on at the park at Kenneth High, and he got a Harley, and his kid ain't got no college fund. And it's kind of like it is what it is. Our generation shifted all that to ourselves. Like somehow we got reparations where we gonna send our kids to lacrosse and soccer and we gonna pay for college and you ain't paid off your student debts.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people living the reflection of the Empire TV show. this idealism of an America that isn't today. Today, Trump is about to start a trade war with China.
Yeah.
Today, we talking about food boxes going to your cousin and your sister that you like to talk to every weekend. And we'll see how good that conversation is when she get a food box instead of food stamps.
Right.
Today is a world where the middle black family, when you take out the family car, you take out the clothes and the TV, is worth like $1,400. In LA, it's $200.
So I'm gonna ask the group: do you think what Cornelia spoke of earlier when she talked about relationship discord? Do you think you need somewhat of a real, like, strong understanding of what it takes to resolve that shit in the face of what Tone is talking about? Like, you need a high emotional IQ. You need a deep understanding of your communication style, your partner's communication style. You need an adept understanding of active listening in the like all the shit you were talking about, that, you know, that spiritual work, that shit gotta be on point in the face of what Tone is talking about.
Exactly.
Because like when you talk about that war that he's about to set up with China, there are specific states in America that are going to be unduly affected by those metal tariffs. Right. And that's going to affect families. That's going to affect relationships. What is the number one reason or cause of relationship breakdown in America?
Finance.
Money. Yeah. Cornelia?
Right. Well, again, and I can only speak. Yes, there you can look at data and you can look at statistics and you can look at the effect that the world has in situations and your circumstances has on individual relationships. But at the end of the day, when stuff don't work out, when things go awry, when shit hit the fan,
right,
when mama and daddy walk out, it's not usually that high level. It's very simple. It's very specific. So for me, whenever we talk about relationships and why stuff don't work out, I always single it back to, because perfect, my parents. My parents' relationship didn't work out because, one, they got married, they weren't in love. It was that, he got a good job and she can cook and she good with kids. When it didn't work out, it was, he didn't talk to me. He wasn't a communicator. And she was looking for a father figure. Very specific and very simple and to the point. So, yes, outside he worked at GM. There was layoffs and in and out. And she worked in health insurance. And it was the same situation in Flint, Michigan at that. But that, when it came down to why it didn't work, it wasn't that at all. It was those simple and very specific issues from within.
Right. That's good shit. I love it. Mimi?
Well, there was a lot said. Is there a certain angle that you would like me to lean towards?
I want you to fucking chime in. Y'all been listening.
Give us
Y'all
that
been
hood.
quiet.
Give us that
hood knowledge.
Well, I really believe finances definitely play a part, because I feel like if you're in a relationship with someone and you are expecting certain things.
No, go ahead.
Okay. And you are expecting certain things, because to me, a lot of women, whether they want to admit it or not, and even men, everyone comes in with some sort of expectation, whether it's a meal cooked on the table or whether it's you to pay the bill. There's an expectation to keep a house clean or whatever it is. So I think if most of these needs are not met, if she's not cleaning the house and he's not paying for the bills, there's some type of problem if she expected that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she's paying all the bills and he's expecting her to pay the bills, but if there's an expectation for him to do it and he's not doing it, I feel like that causes a problem on the relationship. And sometimes people are not communicators. So they're not communicating to each other, hey, this is becoming a problem. What can we do? What's happening is they're talking to their girlfriend about it, their mama about it, their cousin about it. And these people are not helping the relationship. What these people are doing are causing more walls and more buildup against the relationship. They like, oh, I knew that nigga was shit, girl. You shouldn't have been with him in the first place. So at the end of the day, I feel like when we let others into our relationship, that also causes more turmoil and more problems, because the people on the outside looking in, they don't know what's going on in the house. They just know the shit you're telling them. So, and the shit you're telling them is all the negative stuff. You're not saying, oh, how good we got along up until now. You're just saying, hey, he's not doing
it's
this.
Just one perspective. It's just your side of the story.
Yeah.
Like if you're telling your homegirl, you're not telling her his side. You
Right.
just telling your side. So,
Right,
yeah.
Mimi?
So so at the
I
end
like that. That's good.
Yeah, so I feel like at the end of the day, and even when I saw the movie with Taraji the other day, it was the same
Acrimony?
thing. Acrimony. And if you notice, even though there was a lot to that, but one thing that I paid close attention to, look at her sisters. They were constantly on her head about her man, but their man wouldn't shit either. So at the end of the day, you got so much to say about what's going on in my house, but your backyard ain't clean. You got so much to
Right.
say about what's going on over here, but your shit ain't straight. So I feel like a lot of people are so worried about what's going on with someone else instead of taking care of their own shit. And I think if we take time to communicate as a group, Black people as one, I think we can build more together instead of tearing one another down.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk. Man, this shit is crazy right now. Today's topic, Black Love Wars. A deeper look at relationship disharmony. Is your man ignoring you? Not listening to what you have to say. Devalues your opinion even. Marginalizes it. Jesus. What about in reverse? Do you marginalize his opinion? And why? We want to know where the disharmony is originating in your relationship. Call me right now. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Please test the people in this room. I want to hear from you guys right now. We've got some great guests in the building. Tone Talks from Dash Radio's Tone Talks is in the building right now. Cornelia Stradwick from the No Flex Zone is in the building right now. Mimi from Keeping It Real with Mimi is in the building right now. Miss Lips from Fucking Up Conversations All Over the World is in the building right now. And of course, my homegirl Peaches is in the building right now. Today's topic is nuts. The phone lines is crazy. I want to take a quick caller right now. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it. Caller. Boost Mobile. Drop him. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it. More Boost Mobile. What up, caller?
I just heard some amazing perspectives, body in there, and it really actually changed my mind listening to some of the women's perspective because I'm a hood dude, cleaned up. Now I'm a corporate guy, but with coming from that hood mentality, you know, the number one thing that you learn is that I don't give a fuck attitude. And in my mind, it was always the person who wins in a relationship is the one who don't give a fuck. And since I never really cared about losing anyone, I really didn't value some of the relationships that I had. So
there you go.
Just listening to the women and although, you know, a lot of those things that they talked about as far as I don't know what the young lady name is who talked about the specific reason why her parents broke up.
Cornelia Stradwick.
Okay. So, the microcosm of that and then the macro of all those other things, the white supremacy component, you know, how we come up, you know, all these other elements that Black people have to deal with that most other races don't, you know, those things are very relevant. So I just wanted to speak my piece and just really, lend my opinion on it. But I definitely appreciate the topic and all the contributions that all the women had on the panel.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, man. Thank you for the call, man. Call back anytime. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, this is a forum where women get to say what they want to say. We want to open it up right now. Get to your phone lines. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Do you feel unsafe and insecure in your relationship? A, rarely. B, sometimes. C, often. D, much of the time. Call me right now, 323-230-4610. How can somebody feel safe and secure, especially, and I like to skew things towards African Americans. How can men and women feel safe and secure in their relationships if there's no resources? What can they be sure of?
Coming here?
Yeah. Tone talks.
Yeah, you know,
We'll come back
I was sitting here for a while just thinking about the point that you made, and the thing that's interesting is I got a friend that has two parents that are 80 years old, right? And that puts them in the framework of the peak of like American like factory work, and also getting them cheap houses that appreciate it, and also coming straight off that plantation. And what's interesting is I don't know if they had those little problems in that same way, or they saw them as big problems because it was so good. You making $57,000, and houses are what, you know, $85,000. I'm saying like I just think that what happened was we really don't step back and understand the kind of chaos of the moment. And it's been like kind of that way since Reagan. When you actually look at the way wealth has changed post Reagan, we're in a moment like that's similar to the Great Depression in terms of wealth share between the bottom and the top.
Wow.
And I feel like because our parents now are like at the old point, people's parents probably are like 60 something. And at the young point, they're like 53, 54, which would be like Gen Xers, dope game and everything else.
Right.
People really don't have exposure to that to like when it was real good. Those parents that are like 80 right now. And so like those people, I think one of the myths is that their marriages were great, because a lot of them, they weren't as great, like Fences showed us, as you believed. But the other thing is, compared to what they grew up in, it was substantially better. And also they had not mastered how to make us perfect consumers. Meaning when I say they, I'm talking about Amazon. You'll go look for something on Amazon, and Amazon will follow you around the internet. Like if you look up a bicycle on Amazon, it's gonna show up on your computer for the next week.
Yeah.
Think about a world where you just bought a chair and that was it for like
now
5
you got
years.
chair advertisements all around you.
No, but I'm saying contrast that to a world where your wife goes shopping once a month, or a world where you buy a chair. And that chair, that TV. You remember the TV with the knob?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes,
you
sir.
get the
rabbit ears.
and then you get the
Zenith.
when the handle fall off, you get out the toolbox.
And the screwdriver.
And I think that world
the
created an
pliers.
environment where you could actually have much more healthy relationships. And those small problems, which I agree, we blow up to be big problems, didn't happen. Or if they did happen, we understood how utterly small they were. And also, you didn't have the person get laid off, right? So you don't have that climactic moment where it's like, well, maybe this doesn't work because, you know, we got married for, as she said correctly, because you had a good job and you don't have that no more. No, you had that till you die. So we ain't got to even get to that.
Wow.
That moment.
Wow. Peaches? Peaches come onto that side too.
What I wanted to say is I wanted to piggyback off of everything you guys said really quickly, and then I'm going to go into what was just discussed. But I think people need to get over that fairy tale mentality. Zoe says it all the time, the Disneyland theory. That's why they come in with that attitude Tone said. They come in with that attitude like, I needs to take care of my family. I'm James Evans. I'm going to take care of everybody. He didn't do a good job, but they worked through shit like Tone is talking about. I'm older than most people in here. I'm 51. My grandparents were married till the 74 years till they died. I've had the blessing of seeing people with money in my family. My parents, my dad worked for Motown, had a lot of money, but he was always chasing that Disneyland fairy tale, and none of his relationships worked because he was a whore.
Wow.
He had a wife at home, but he wanted to
whore.
He kept her. She didn't know nothing. She was just that Virgin Mary at home, being a good wife and cooking the dinner and daddy out fucking everybody. Coming home, but his wife didn't know shit. They got along. They broke up because of his dick. You know, and then you have my mama, who's a drug addict. And I saw what struggle was about, living in motels, living in little rooms, you know, lights out, shit like that.
Right.
Daddy sending child support, but I don't see that shit. I'm going to school with fucked up shit on. That's why I love Chuck so much, because I couldn't afford a fucking Chuck Taylor, you know? So it puts a lot of stress on you as an adult when you get into these relationships, because you're bringing, like Mimi said, all of this baggage, that Disneyland fairy tale, and what black people need to do is break it down, like Zoe said, into communication. Bitch, this is what I like. This is who I am. Let's love each other, motherfucker. I'm just saying.
Biatch. No.
And listen, let me just say, I had a love-hate relationship with Good Times. I loved the show, but I hated the show because I felt like Florida Evans was a coon. I felt like she was a slave.
My God. I could see why you did. I could see why you did.
You know, when JJ painted that picture of Black Jesus and it was the wino Ned and she was like, this only Jesus.
Lord.
I just couldn't fuck with her like that.
Well, we had to look at the message.
But I will say this is the love part of that show. The love part of that show is they was broke as fuck. They kept missing opportunities. Remember when JJ fucked up Thelma Evans' boyfriend's knee when he was getting ready to go to the
league of the Bears.
Damn it, we was right there type shit.
He was gonna play for the Bears.
But they fucking loved each other through all of that.
Through everything.
And what I'm saying is, what I observe in our relationship construct today, everything, people don't factor in this. This is a capitalistic society. This is a society that's predicated on consumerism, right? This is why so many Black people think my income is equivalent to wealth or my income is equivalent to power. No, it's not. Purchasing power, maybe. But when you look at that family, that construct, I know it was written by, Norman Lear and all that. When you factor that shit in, no matter what the failure was, they always had each other, always ended with each other, always ended with love. So this society is producing I gotta have this in order for this to mean something. Not, do you get what I'm saying? I have to acquire this, I have to accumulate this in order for me to say I've made it or we've made it. Yeah. That's why most of the relationships are predicated on what we doing. What are we building? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like a toxic ambition, I believe. You see? Go ahead, Tom.
In about 2 weeks, I got a report coming out with Sandy Darity, who's a leading intergenerational economist in the nation from Duke, and Dark Hamilton, who's an economist as well. And one of the sections I worked on was the celebrity section. And I think that you can't have this conversation without understanding that so many of us grew up in broken homes that we got our idea of family from TV.
Right.
And one of the things you saw with Good Times is you can't analyze Good Times in one space because there's a Good Times before James Evans and then there's a Good Times after. Norman Lear and Amos actually fell out because he was actually kicked off the show. James Evans.
Wow.
Yeah.
When he was dead that time, gone
they
for
just
a long
made
time.
Yeah, they made a whole different show and they centered it around the silliness of JJ.
Yeah.
And that's the direction we went.
Exactly.
And when that happened, it took Black America with him. We became different. And you started to see as we move into like the 80s, and I use the pivotal moment of the Cosby Show starting airing in 84, I believe.
Yeah.
And like what you see is the imagery of Black exceptionalism came to the forefront, and that's what will be in our paper about how Black people started to want to be an aspirational version of themselves rather than a real version of themselves.
Oh my God!
And in doing that,
please give us the distinction.
Well,
the aspirational version versus the actual version. Speak.
Well, until the 90s, we didn't have wealth data, so. You start looking at your $100,000, but you don't count the $150,000 of student debt. You start thinking that Black people are doing well because you guys are all dressed well. We just saw that with Howard, where a bunch of young Black people, including administrators, literally were using financial aid money to what they said ball on a budget. And so, like, I think what we start to see post Cosby is this reality that if we look good, we are good. And the reality is that what we see now as a consequence is a generation of children of that generation.
Wow.
That don't know that you're supposed to have a cause as a Black person. And don't know that you're supposed to be a part of a community as a Black person. And don't know that you're supposed to be an individual that's rooted in something more than yourself as a Black person in America. And I just come back to like how media and TV have played that role as we look Good Times, The Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air also played a role.
Yeah.
Into more modern like reality television shows, and
Wife and kids.
And I'll add one more thing. No group has been more impacted by the music video than African Americans.
Wow.
And you have to look at BET and 106 in Park and how we began to a black person can live in the middle of East Cleveland and forget that they live there if they TV clear enough and they can see somebody else's house.
Right.
And somebody would say, white people do that too. And what we don't understand is most white people don't even have a black friend. So you need to really get around how it's very different. It's vastly different. The need, we just talked about it right now, the need to escape versus confront.
Wow.
You got two black people that come from a legacy of possibly broken homes that both need to maybe go to counseling. And I'm not talking about couples counseling right now. I'm talking about the type of counseling where you call down to First AME or you call down to West Angeles and you say, I'll give you 30, because they give you, at West Angeles, you can pay $25 and just get some counseling about your family issues. And we're not doing that. We just jumping into relationships and trying to be Bill Cosby.
I think going back to the respectability thing and the perception that like when the Cosbys kind of made us say, oh, to be a good black family, you have to be a doctor and the wife has to be a lawyer and the kids got to be X, Y, and Z. We kind of always had a level of respectability in that regard. The only difference was now we had shows where we can see it in real time. Because you talk to grandma and grandpa and them, it was always, you better not go out the house looking like that, your hair nappy.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get a job if you doing that.
Okay.
They ain't gonna, these white people, they ain't gonna really, you gotta get it, you gotta be looking good. We always had it. I just think those shows put it in front of us in real time.
And
they put it in front of white folks. But white people were doing that to us as well anyway. So I think, again, we just watch it every day at 8:00 p.m.
Mimi?
Well, if you go in for an interview right now and someone comes in and their weave is all nappy and then someone comes in and their weave is nice. I'm just using some examples, right?
Here we go.
Somebody comes in and your hair is nappy and you look unclean, untaken care of, right? And then someone else comes in and they're a little bit more polished. That person that looks unpolished is probably not going to get the job because when they see him, they're going to say they don't want that to represent their company. They don't want that to be the person at their receptionist desk. So when you walk into their company, they don't want to see that. I use that example to say I think we're living in a time where vanity and all that stuff has really played a big part in how we all live. I think even when a man goes out to a club or a bar, if he sees a girl and her toes are busted and her shoes are her feet are hanging off the shoes and shit, he say, this bitch got on some shoes and she need a bigger size.
So Boomerang and Eddie Murphy did that with Lila Rashawn and the feet in the bed scene. That was all Eddie Murphy.
Exactly. Go ahead, B.
He ruined us.
Okay. All right. So
he ruined us. Go ahead.
So the point I'm trying to make is that I believe that when people come out, there's an expectation for every person. A man is looking for a woman that's well kept. He goes to her house. If her bathroom is dirty or she looks like she's a dirty person, that makes them feel like they don't want to be with that woman. So I think that being clean and taking care of yourself has something that's just become a society way. I don't think it's just blacks. I think it's whites. I think it's everyone in general, especially when you're going to be working and living in today's world.
I got another question for the panel. Get to your phone lines. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. You're listening to Dash Radio / Talk. This is the talk station, baby. This is Dash Talk, man. You under dig? Zoe's out here putting on these shows out here on the Dash Talk station. This is the voice of reason, his own show, where the ladies come and lay out what they think. I have a question. Do you feel that conflict and frustration outweigh your enjoyment? God, for most, outweigh the enjoyment in the relationship? And if so, why? Why is frustration and conflict leading the way in your relationship, black men and women? For a lot of people, it is. Now, of course, for all of our questions, it's some but all. You guys know what I mean by that. Some but all. Some but not all. All right? We don't speak in absolutes. Some but all, okay? But what is the source of the conflict and frustration in black people's relationship? I'm very interested to know. The phone lines are open. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Tone,
definitely.
and then Miss Lips.
One of the things that I think happens is that we're raised a lot of times in frustration. I'm not saying white people aren't as well, but I'm saying if you're raised, say, with a mama that scream, you subtly want that. You don't even know deep inside you, somebody that don't scream doesn't make you happy, and you almost need to adjust what does.
But see, now you about to take us into getting ass whoopings versus not getting ass whoopings.
Right.
Because that creates a level of frustration, but to
I'm just
a
dealing
black
with
person, it's like, nigga, that shit straighten me out.
I guess what I'm just dealing with is what you get sometimes is that people run towards the frustration that they know.
Wow.
And so like you were raised in this environment that wasn't healthy. And you don't know what healthy is. And you get in an environment that is healthy, and you're uncomfortable.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me frustration looks normal to that person when they're in a relationship?
Yeah, like
they can't relate unless there's frustration.
No, and the thing is, anytime he sees peace, he creates chaos.
Woo, Miss Lips, I know you've done that.
That's real talk.
Yeah, I'll just say both sides are frustrated because we're not fucking enough. All this alphaness and this ego and bitches got vibrators and you got all this cold nipple but no dick. It's just it's a mess. I mean, you make all these side babies out of frustration because that's the only bitch that only want to fuck you at that time. Like, we have to really be honest.
She just keeping it 100.
Because you got $50 in your pocket and you found the crackhead for 20 and you mad at the world because she didn't suck it right. And you got to be at the board meeting in 30 minutes. Don't be mad. Get you a good fucking woman from Chicago that will take care of your motherfucking ass and chop up your weed. When you get home, it be right there. The blunt be ready. Whoa. Everything be ready. She has some lingerie bought from Ross.
Whoa.
Okay.
Not from Ross.
Yes, Ross. Goddamn it. I got on Ross on. Yes, the Ross boss. I'm just saying we acting like it's so goddamn complicated, nigga. You like me, I like you. My nipples hard, your nipples hard. Let's change information. Let's go.
Let's get it together. Okay.
Classic Miss Lips. I told y'all we don't.
I'm with that.
Rock.
Classic Miss Lips. Miss Peaches. What the fuck is going on? That's your homegirl, Miss Lips. Do you feel that conflict and frustration?
Comedians just be saying what's on their mind. You got 3 in here right now, so.
Jesus. Do you feel that conflict and frustration outweigh your enjoyment of having fun with your partner?
No, because I'm one of those people, I can compartmentalize why I'm mad at you.
Oh,
but it took years to get that way. Like, nigga, if I'm mad at you for this reason, I'm still gonna fuck you. Because I need mine. It don't have nothing to do with why we mad at each other. You know, I'm going to even discuss it with you while we fucking, if the mood is right and we enjoying ourselves.
But see,
then we can discuss it some more after, or we could just be angry fucking. That's the best fuck sometimes.
I think black people need an enhanced relationship toolbox in this society.
What is that gonna be?
Meaning, if we're behind the 8 ball economically, right, which we are, if we're behind the 8 ball technologically, which we are, if we're behind the 8 ball with regards to education,
right,
we gonna need a relationship toolbox, right, that's fucking stacked with every little gadget to help us solve and manage the problems that come from being systematically marginalized in different areas. We just need that. We got to be motherfucking relationship.
We need a grant. We need a relationship grant. We need a relationship grant.
We need a relationship grant.
Yeah. We need a bailout. We need a relationship bailout from the government. Can you hook us up?
No, I just think that's something that has to be focused on because, again, this ain't just, listen, this is not just black folk. If white folk fucked up, black folk really fucked up.
Right.
That is a statistical fact. If white folk fucked up, black folk is really fucked up. So when I'm looking at our relationships, I need to ask this question for us today. domestic violence. Is it a deal breaker?
Yeah, it is.
You know why I have to say that? Because again, there is nothing in American culture that niggas don't learn from media.
Or not, maybe not media, maybe from your family. Because you gotta remember,
Yep.
this seems to be one of the first Generation X, and this ain't statistic, this is just me observing.
Right.
We seem to be one of the first generations that are side-eyeing this whole, if he whoop your ass, you need to stick around and just deal with it narrative. Meaning, you got a lot of grandparents or older couples or older aunties or just
Speak on it.
people in general who have the mentality of, maybe that's just how he show his love, or that's just what happens in relationships. Sometimes he put his hands on you. Not saying all, but just some of the chatter, it seems to be changing now, where it's like, well, you ain't about to be whooping my ass. Like, who said that? I don't care if grandma got her ass whooped by grandpop and they've been married for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
If I gotta be getting my ass whooped for 3,000 years just to say that my marriage is going to last, and I'm not down with it. So
Speak on it.
I can't speak for everyone, but it's the deal breaker for me. You ain't about to be beating on me. What kind of part of the game is that?
Well, as a woman that came out of a domestic violence situation a long time ago, I was young. You know, me and my son's dad used to fight each other, but we were fighting because we were too young to be in a fucking relationship in the first place. He was 21, I was 18. What the fuck did we know? We're having fist fights in the house. Until one day I just was like, you know what? I'm not doing this with you, because I had a daydream about how I was going to kill you. So I need to get away from you.
Goddamn.
I'm a Scorpio. I can't help it. I'm having daydreams about rolling this nigga up in carpet.
Tone is Scorpio too.
Let me
say
one additional thing.
Thank God Snap wasn't out yet, because a bitch would have figured some shit out.
The thing I also think is a problem, though, is not just the physical reality of the. First of all, I'm gonna say Tommy Curry, Man Not, pick it up. I've interviewed him twice, and the data in the book shows that most of our physical abuse is bidirectional. It's not a cultural.
It's not from man to woman.
One of my homeboys,
back and forth.
Yeah, one of my homeboys was a lawyer. He used to get beat on by his doctor girlfriend, wife. He had to get a divorce. When he told the girl's daddy said she don't hit you that hard, and so you fundamentally deal with this reality that. No, you deal with this reality of what Dr. Curry showed, which is more black men actually were killed in certain years than black women in domestic violence abuse. And I think that what I actually see more as a problem, even more so than just the actual violence, is also our need to see it. How many of y'all go home at night and watch this Lifetime?
Here we go.
How many of y'all go home at night and watch this Lifetime?
On, man.
I'm saying, like you ain't got no polygamy in your house. You don't have no domestic violence in your house. I remember we had a guest on the show maybe a few months ago, and she was trying to live through Mimi's story. And it was like, you ain't been abused.
You ain't been
abused.
Where the fuck Mimi been, nigga?
Yeah, and so like, because of you not having that personal story, but then trying to write that narrative, it misses all the heartbeat of it all.
And it disrespects Mimi's reality.
Right.
Because you get to try to put it on like that's that ain't a cape you can wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like we gotta I feel like what we gotta get back to when we come back to domestic violence is stop looking for it too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I feel like if you got a good marriage, you ain't got no business to be watching no Lifetime. I'm gonna say it out straight.
How about it? You don't need no motherfucking bad ideas. Here, let me hit y'all
with
this
a home
book.
Network show.
You can't watch Snaps.
Hey, let me recommend this. Let me recommend this book. Intimate Relationships. I mean, it's like 800 pages, but fuck it. Intimate Relationships, 2nd edition, by Thomas M. N. Bradbury and Benjamin R. Carney. Both are professors at the University of UCLA, right? And they're relationship scientists. Now, Benjamin R. Carney came from Florida. He was at the University of Florida before he came to the UCLA. But he did extensive research on newlyweds and found that violence isn't a determining factor for why relationships break up. He noticed, he said, violence is ubiquitous in human relationships. You can see kids socking each other out. All the way up to elderly people socking each other out.
Right.
What he said was, in the relationship, he said, during the research, he found that 50% of the newlywed couples that experienced violence, they all went on to still marry each other before, the violence
before
occurred.
The marriage.
The violence occurred before the marriage, but they was able to get over it and then get married and still be good. I.e., Ray Rice, who's the football player? Ray Rice and his girl. So again, what he was saying was scientists and clinicians had to break up domestic violence into degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What Mimi experienced is some O.J. Simpson, Ronald and Nicole Brown type shit. And what happens is,
Ike and Tina.
because that element, that level gets sensationalized, everybody gets to say, well, that happened to me and I'm a victim. First off, humans are violent, period.
Yes, we are.
Off tops. And what they found is, in the research, Carney and the gang, they studied this thing called the Conflict Tactics Survey.
Mm-hmm.
In the Conflict Tactics Survey, women are by far the most violent in all relationships. Because the female's violence is categorized as moderate. Right. So they get to throw shit, spit, kick, push, slap, do all of that, and that's all labeled under moderate. Right? So you get CCV, common couple violence. You get IPV, intimate partner violence.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get IT, intimate terrorism. Intimate terrorism is the worst. But what the weakness of the tactic survey is this. It doesn't account for physicality. When men hit women, they hurt women. They break women.
Yes.
That's the only flaw in that. This is why it's controversial, but it's the most widely used. But when we start talking about violence in relationship, we also have to deal with the social double standard. Right? The social double standard says a man should be able to take a slap in the mouth, a punch, a kick, or whatever.
Mm-mm.
Because you're a man, you should be able to absorb it. It shouldn't you shouldn't respond. But the flip side of that is you should never hit a woman. Wherever there's absolutes, there's flaws.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So again, we've got research that says relationships can survive after violence.
Yeah.
It just depends on the level of violence.
Yeah.
Now but you have to understand, we're sitting here breaking down some real heavy shit about violence that the average motherfucker who's at the house making some motherfucking sugar rice doesn't understand. So when it happens to them, you know what I'm saying? The average niggas just got some sugar rice on the stove. Right. They don't understand.
He just threw that out there so randomly, though.
But you understand? Like, we have to become more fucking aware.
Right.
Knowledgeable of what, that's why I say our fucking relationship toolbox gotta be on overdose just because, by the mere fact we're behind the ball financially. Mm-hmm. Nigga, where there's money problems, there's gonna be some aggression.
Oh, it's gonna be some aggression, alcoholism, drug use.
Without finance is a nuisance.
There's gonna be some shit.
That part.
So I'm saying, I've been saying this shit for a long time. Black people so far behind, we can't even be human. Like, anger and losing it is part of being human.
Yeah, because you have to come back to self to
you can't even do that.
But you have to lose it to actually get back to the real you, you can deal with your problems.
You see what I'm saying?
So and then the other thing is, I think even the statement and behind gives us some relativity, but I think it under is a better word. And the reason why, and what happens, what's weird is even when you get some bread, because people ain't dealt with their family, we got to take care of your auntie and her college kid that's and your cousin and I think that I call it anchors and balloons. You know, black people, what happens is, and you see this with the NBA players like DeRozan and Depression, you see this where you get some money, but everybody around you has none. So the money is a trap. And then if you in a relationship with a mate who hasn't dealt with their outside family,
here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. These niggas is at the house again.
Hungry with their hands out.
But sometimes money changes the person to become that beast. Sometimes a person will grow up in poverty, and then the minute they get money, they become this other person because now they feel like they're bigger and greater than every other person that they're dealing with. And now they treat everybody as pawns. Right. And so then more violence comes about. If she's not listening, this person's not listening, they begin to have this complex that you must listen to me because I am the provider. And if you don't, there will be repercussions to this situation. Right. I've actually was in that's how my kid's father was. He didn't have money at first, but as he began getting money and hanging out with Ice-T and doing this and doing that, he became a different person. And I mean, there was a signs of violence, but the violence got worse as he got more money because it was almost like he felt like he was the man. All these bitches want me. You ain't gonna shut the fuck up. I mean, and maybe I'm not even saying shit, but that's his mentality. He's fighting his brothers. He's fighting niggas on the street. He's choking me out. He's breaking noses. He's shooting. He's doing whatever he's got to do. That makes him feel like a man. I have money. I have my gun. I'm a man.
Wow. My son's dad, same thing. Got that street money. Got more money, more money. You decide you want to hit me because you got more money, nigga, take this back because I'm not going to I got brothers. We not going to just be beating my ass. Right. I mean, the first time I was like, damn, this nigga just hit me. And I had to think about it because I was in high school. I'm in the 12th grade and this nigga just stole on me. He gave me a Benz the day before, but he stole on me the next day.
Oh, wow.
But I'm thinking my mama's a crackhead. I'm out of her house. This nigga just gave me a Benzo. We just gonna be fighting because I'm gonna keep spending his money. But I didn't know it was gonna get worse until I couldn't take it no more.
Wow. And in my situation, people were actually getting paid to say where I was. I went into hiding, and that money amplified his inability to get to me. He's like, oh, well, Miss Lips, she wants some rims on that car. Tell me where she is.
Wow.
Then I'll buy you that. And then people are bought for money because when people live in poverty or they want things, they'll do whatever they have to do. They don't care what happens to you. They only care about their end of the fence. Wow. So it's kind of sad when those two things come into play.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, I got to take a quick break. The first break, this shit been going crazy. This is a hot-ass show, my name. The Voice of Reason Dash Radio. Listen, I need you guys to hit that like button in the super chat. There's hundreds of people in the chat room right now commenting. What up, chat room? Everybody wave to the chat room. Say what's up to the YouTube chat room. Listen, if you're listening on Dash Talk Radio, you guys can't see the chat room. All you got to do is go to my YouTube page, The Zo What Show, and subscribe, and you can see us in here live right now. I have to take a quick break to clear the palate. It's been very deep, so let's get a little 30-second reprise with, what do we got? Chase Skizza? Get to the phone lines, 323-230-4610. We'll be right back. I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call.
Pete, you are now tuned in to the voice of reason. The big humble soul is your host this evening. Zoe Williams, man of many topics. Talk about everything, ain't nothing out of pocket. Religion and music to maximizing profit. How to tell if your relationship is toxic. If you on the wrong path, we can stop it. Knowledge is like the beat and we drop it. So tune in and get you some wisdom. From square guests to niggas that's just out of prison. So whether you're saint, sinner, or heathen, get you some grown game from the voice of reason.
There's a show that's stopping you. And it's not that far from you. From you. Coming from the heart of you. Reality is not on your screen. There's a show that's stopping you. And it's not that far from you. From you. Coming from
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason has returned. Heated discussion. What's wrong with black love? What's wrong with it? Why can't we love each other outside of the white man's oppression?
You
Right.
tickled. I'm glad you're having a good time. Look at him.
He said outside of the white
Outside of the
man.
white man.
It's oppression.
They shouldn't have built that damn Disneyland dream for motherfuckers out here.
I'm just saying, man. Tone Talks comes in with, of course, the data, the stats. Phone lines is lit. I'm coming to the callers.
Yeah.
I need to know why we're at love. We're at war. Damn, I love sisters.
Are we?
I think we are.
Are we at war or are we at war with the narrative?
I think it's
that tells us we're at war.
It's a war of ideas.
I think we're just at war with the idea of not listening to each other.
I fuck with that too. But see, this is why I engage in these type of conversations, right? Because I think the more we talk about it, the more we analyze it, the more we break it down, the more we do the work, right? I think the relationships can then begin to kind of change. Like for instance, frustration is a result of not getting what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But frustration and anger are cousins.
Right.
And typically anger is the sign of a child. Right? You get mad because you don't get what you want.
Temper tantrum.
Right.
Right? The adult tends to settle in. Now, I'm not saying these are absolute ideas. Of course, there's gray area in every concept presented. But for the most part, if you're just angry all the time and frustrated all the time, it's usually because you're not getting what you want.
Right.
Right? Now, in a relationship context, if you're not getting what you want, the natural inclination is to look outward and say, if you do this, then I can have what I want. Or if you adjust, then this will come to me. But in the spiritual understanding of relationships, it doesn't work that way. It's the change must happen from within.
Right.
And that's the most difficult thing to do, is to be in a relationship, apparently, is to be in a relationship and be like, what the fuck do I need to change? What the fuck is it about me that produced this relationship outcome?
Right.
You don't hear that often. What you hear is, I lived up to my part of the bargain.
Everybody points the finger.
Yeah.
You feel me?
They can't accept what their position is in making this relationship work or not work. They can't accept who they are as a person.
Do you see?
Well, sometimes you need the other person to tell you though, because a lot of times
Sometimes.
if you don't know you're doing something wrong, most cases you won't be able to point it out because you didn't know in the first place. But if me and you were together and we broke up, and
Wait, that was interesting.
and I need someone to tell me what it was, a lot of times you can't reach back to old boy or old girl and have her communicate what the problem is, because maybe there's some bad blood, or maybe he or she can't even communicate what it was because they don't know what it was.
Yeah. But I think we all know who we are as people. So I think not what you're saying is bullshit, but that's some bullshit because you know what the fuck you do in a relationship that's right or wrong. You know when you not being right because your relationship pattern has been the same in every relationship. So you done brought that baggage into the next one. Oh, he's not doing this and he's not doing. You're not articulate.
But if all the
not
niggas are saying the same thing about you, you got to sit and say, hey, somebody telling the truth. You're the same person that's going from relationship to relationship.
Right.
So if everybody's saying the same exact thing about you, then that thing has to stick and stay. You have to look in the mirror and accept that fault.
Let's
go
ahead. Let's go back. Because sometimes I think there's this, you get dinged for bringing baggage into a relationship. Right? Like, oh, you done brought this bullshit with you. That's what relationship is for.
Yeah, and then you got to throw it away and move on.
No, there is no throwing away.
That's deep.
See the relationship baggage as a kind of traumatic ice.
Okay.
The relationship is the heat that melts the ice.
Black ice.
Now, here is the problem with a lot of motherfuckers.
Okay.
A lot of motherfuckers have come to identify with the ice. So when you identify with the ice, the last thing the ego wants is the identity to be eradicated.
Right. It wants to keep it.
So a lot of times, this is why I tell women, don't date your ideas, don't date your concepts, unless those concepts have been vetted out through internal self-observation. If you sitting here trying to date a coping mechanism, then you're not really there for, or connected with that person.
Right.
You're looking at that person's ability to maintain your identity, what you've identified with. The relationship itself is the heat necessary to melt the traumatic ice, right? You have to get in this shit and you have to work this out. But you got so many people that are afraid to get in a relationship because they don't want to experience what they've experienced before. Now, fear becomes the motherfucking personal advisor. Well, you know, this nigga looked like that last situation.
Right.
But you have to go through what you have to go through to get out of it.
Yeah, but women, are we really dating these checks? Are we dating these men? Like, you know, we have to ask these questions. Like, we have to seriously understand who we are. Like, if you like a certain person, you need to just focus on that. And then if you want to be open-minded one day, you have to take the responsibility of making a mistake. Like, we out here gambling, basically, recklessly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right now.
Dice, nigga.
Did you just stab him with that one? Oh,
Hey,
shit.
Eddie Murphy said it best. Eddie Murphy said, crapshoot, take half. Remember that set he did where he shot the dice every time you getting in a relationship, Miss Lips? You a little spacey, but you be making some space sense.
You
I be high.
And I have a couple of things to add here. IPV, intimate partner violence, CCV, common couple violence, and IT, intimate terrorism. All of them can kill you. Right? But they stratify them. Right? So the first two, IPV and CCV, they consider those things that can be dealt with through a therapist. IT, intimate terrorism, police reports.
Right.
Right? That's that other shit.
That shit we don't want.
Okay? So, yeah, nobody wants that. But that's part of the human condition. And like I said, what you have to ferret out in relationship are absolute ideas. Because it's the absolute idea that tends to be inflexible. Now, in this book that I tell everybody to get, Intimate Relationships, is actually the textbook for their UCLA course. In that book, it explains that the most successful relationships in terms of spiritual connectivity, in terms of, just meaning, right? Flexible beliefs.
Right.
The more flexible the belief, the more fluid and actually strong the relationship is.
Yeah.
It's the inflexible beliefs that create brittle relationships.
Right.
That's why I always tell women, don't date the ideas, man. Break up with the ideas, date a real person. Callers, you're on the line. Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Zoe Williams is in the motherfucking building right now. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it.
Hey, what up? This is Dallas from San Diego.
San Diego in the building. What's happening?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? 619. I'm right below y'all.
619. You San Diego State or SDU? Where you at, nigga?
I actually work at San Diego State. I guess I'm telling too much of my business right now. But.
It's out there now. Let's go.
Actually, I hit you up earlier this morning about a specific topic, and I think it's kind of, relative to what y'all talking about. And, when people are in relationships, you got to get in a relationship that somebody has a similar upbringing to you.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be ideal.
Yeah, it would be nice, I know, but, I was married before, and, my ex-wife, we was from two totally different backgrounds. So everything was, I saw certain shit a certain way, she saw shit a certain way, and it never fucking came together. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what it was always, well, look, this is my experience, and I think this is how shit should be done. And she felt the total opposite way. So it never came together, especially when it came to finance.
Hello?
What was y'all zodiac?
She hung up. The ex-wife hung up the phone.
She was like, guys.
So again,
Enough.
so again, God.
Well, that's but it's a good, interesting perspective. Is that from personal experience, I can say that dating someone from similar backgrounds, those were the worst relationships that I've had.
Right.
I was about to say.
Those were the worst.
Mine too.
Because we got the same kind of damage. We got the same.
Right.
We got the same scars. Yeah. Now dating someone who had different backgrounds, parents been together, love a relationship, cookouts every Friday, like that. We could see eye to eye because there was a different perspective. And it was like, okay, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Oh, I see how you got there. Let's merge them together.
Right. No, I agree.
I fuck with that.
No,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because my background's it's kind of messed up. I would hate to meet somebody who's had the messed up background that I have.
Too.
No, honestly, I'm really blessed that I have the disposition that I have.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm really blessed that I made it through everything I've been through, and I'm still a strong person. So I think
still
that
beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank
Hold
you.
it up, Uncle Sean.
So I really feel like, for me, I would have to be with someone that has a good mother or has good things. I never experienced that.
Yeah.
So maybe I would like to have a mother-in-law that would show me love and give me a hug and say, hey, woman, say some nice, encouraging things, because in my household, I didn't receive that. I grew up in the streets almost. You get what I'm trying to say? I had to teach myself. So I think if I was in a relationship where I could be more sheltered and treated a different way, I think that would be a great thing. So I agree with what you just said. I think it's important to be with someone that balances you out. Maybe they did go through something similar, but there's still different things that they can help you work through, and you guys can help each other as a team.
So let me address this real quick, because certain things sound smart and they're not.
Okay.
Right? On the whose phone is that?
Yours.
No,
It's your phone, man.
That was Siri.
That was Siri.
So
Siri's like, hello.
let me tell you. Let me just say. I mean no disrespect. Like, on the social side, that makes sense, right? What the brother said makes sense. Find somebody that's similar to you.
Right.
On the social side.
Yeah.
I agree.
That makes sense. But spirit and relationships are non-linear. That's what people don't understand. There are no absolutes. Relationships are riddled with gray. Right? There's, how many unhappy motherfuckers are with motherfuckers from similar backgrounds?
Right.
So, again, my favorite philosopher is J. Krishnamurti. I'm about to read this little passage, and then you'll understand what the purpose of like this kind of shit is lost on us. Where again, if Peaches was born in Saudi Arabia, what would be your religion?
Probably Muslim.
You would be Muslim, right?
But
if you were born in Iraq, right? If you were born in Iran, what would be your religion?
Jewish.
No, you'd be Muslim.
Or Muslim.
But what kind of Muslim?
Probably Sunni.
No, you'd be Shia.
Ah.
If you were born in Saudi Arabia, you'd be Sunni.
Ah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I defected whatever side I had the cooler clothes.
So look, you born in America, goddammit. So what happens is you take on American social game rules.
Right.
So what the brother just said come from similar backgrounds. Well, that ties right into what the economist, I forgot his name, who created what is known as equity theory.
Mm-hmm.
You come with something of value, I come with something of equal value.
Mm-hmm.
We got economists in America. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Right.
Capitalist society, we have economists in America creating relationship rules. So we lose this knowledge. Krishnamurti said, self-knowledge is not a thing to be bought in books, nor is it the outcome of a long, painful practice and discipline. But it is awareness from moment to moment of every thought and feeling as it arises in relationship. Relationship is not an abstract ideological level, but an actuality. The relationship with property, with people, and with ideas. Relationship implies existence, and nothing can live in isolation. To be is to be related. So there's this spiritual thing here that's happening.
Right.
I got a fucked up motherfucker. But nobody stops and says, how did I magnetize this fucked up motherfucker?
Right.
How did I draw this motherfucker to me? If everything outside of me is a reflection of what's inside of me, how did I get this challenge? And what does this challenge represent? And how will this challenge evolve me and grow me as a person? This is a back burner kind of thought process when we're engaging in relationships in America.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Lips?
Yes, and you also have to factor is that you are attracting yourself, but there's things you can do and mantras that you can listen to on YouTube that you can attract wealth and remove your obstacles.
Wait, what'd you just say, babe?
I'm talking about some Hindu. I'm talking about Ganesh. I'm talking about Lakshmi. I'm talking about the Hindu goddesses. You know, if you want to attract wealth, there's mantras you could listen to that will make you or have some until
mantras.
Yes, it's some contra mantra.
The contras.
I mean, hey, contras and mantras is the same shit.
What kind
Voodoo
of weed
and
did
hoodoo.
you go smoke?
No, I'm saying it's the same shit. It's the same. If you manifest greatness, what you think you're doing?
Yeah, you manifested greatness.
You conjuring some shit.
You conjuring some shit?
Conjure that shit. Smoke that shit.
Call her. You're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason, nigga.
Just love her.
Yo.
What's happening?
Man, so I'm so glad I got through, man.
All right.
I got to add to the conversation.
Well, speak on it.
I'm so glad you touched on the spiritual side of things because we already know the vast majority of people in America are Christians. So I feel that one of the things that binds the black family can also kind of help save the black family.
Ooh, okay.
That makes sense.
Here we go. Let's go.
Let me. I got to hit you with this. In Proverbs 13 and 22, it says, "A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just." Mm-hmm. And I know some people gonna be like, "Oh man, that's Old Testament. You know, that's before Jesus." Okay, but I got to say it in Ecclesiastes. I mean, I got to give it to this too that Ecclesiastes 10 and 19 also talks about a feast is made for laughter and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So it's so crazy that we always go by the Bible, but we don't go in the Bible. It's so funny that the Bible talks more about money than any other subject in it.
Yeah.
So why is it that we still have to deal with not having anything. It's because we just focus on what somebody said versus, you know, what we know we need to do for ourselves. I mean, we can't spend our whole lives broke because, I mean, what are we showing our kids and what are we showing our kids' kids? This is why they can't get ahead because we don't leave them anything.
Okay.
Oh, well, go ahead, man. I just wanted to add to it, man. I'm sorry. I can keep going.
No, well, thank you. No, I see you, man. I appreciate it.
Got church dick.
No, that was cool. I mean, that was cool.
What?
I mean, what he said was cool.
Yes.
But cool in a fantasy kind of way.
How so?
Again, you got to ignore everything Tone just broke down in here about calcified wealth in America.
Yeah.
You just got to ignore all of that in order to believe what he just said.
So for people who have achieved that level of wealth or may have scraped themselves from the bottom, how did they do it?
Here's the thing. It's timing. Like, this is why 2% of black wealth is in the hands of boomers.
Mm-hmm.
If black people only have 2.6% of the nation's wealth and 2% of that is in the hands of boomers, that deals with timing.
Right.
The other 0.6% is everybody the fuck else. Beyonce, Jay, Oprah, Bill Cosby, Michael, Prince,
money.
Everybody, us in here. Hey. So again, that 0.6% is not distributed evenly amongst everybody else.
Right.
So you always see motherfuckers posting shit. Black people spend 1.3 trillion. We got wealth. Wait, hold on. White people spend 10 trillion. Okay? The numbers tell you only need $300,000 to be in the top 5% of black people in America. There's billionaires. There's like 20, 30 billionaires left off of the Forbes richest list.
Mm-hmm.
There's 10 million white families worth, no, I think it's 12 million white families worth $10 million or more.
See, and that's, I'm sorry.
There's only a few black families that have $1 million. Like hard, like I got $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when you start looking at the numbers, you got to ask yourself a question. Money, like I said this before, if money equaled power, they wouldn't let niggas have it.
Right.
You dig? Like, you can't have it if it meant you had power. So there's a difference between income and wealth. And in our world, we have to figure out, okay, shit, how do we build something? Like the brother was saying in, the scriptures or whatever, how do we leave something for our children's children? Who the fuck is they talking to in that scripture?
Back then, they had something to leave to their children.
I'm saying bringing it in context today.
Well,
like,
leaving something, but we're assuming, and we're saying leaving something like okay, I'm gonna leave Khalil and them $50K. Leaving something could be leaving knowledge at this point because we don't even pass down stories in our families.
Exactly.
We don't even tell our kids where grandma and grandpa grew up or the story of their parents. Mm-hmm. Leaving something could be something as simple as family history. Because we don't know shit about our families. Excuse the language.
And that's what they meant in the Bible. That's exactly what they meant from that.
I agree, but I also think it's important that we buy, life insurance and we invest in those types of things because I think that's where we fall short. We too busy having car washes and fish fries and barbecue. but yet still this nigga buying a bar and hanging out when he alive and shit and this nigga die and y'all can't even put this nigga in the ground. Now you at the corner with a sign talking about, oh, Boo Boo Bobo is dead. Well, how come Boo Boo and Bobo was buying the bottles and he was rolling in a Lexus or Benz, but now this nigga can't even lay his ass down in the dirt. So my thing is, we as people in general, we need to get life insurance. We need to know these different things. Let's invest in our future, our children, because they're looking forward to having things. How can we ever have anything if we don't do anything about it? If you keep doing what you've been doing, we're going to have the same shit we've been having.
That's definitely a wealth building tour. Let me just acknowledge this sister right now. On YouTube, Ultraviolet J is saying something that Tone and I have been saying for quite some time. She said, be realistic about where you are and start building from there.
That's all you can do.
That's the fucking key.
That's all you can do.
Cornelia said something earlier that must be laid out too. we got to stop marginalizing the other currencies in our relationships. Knowledge is a currency.
It is.
A family's oral history and tradition
It is
a currency.
Yes, it is.
And we got far too many motherfuckers in our relationships that don't even give a hell about none of that.
Yep.
Like none of that shit even matters. I've already said this before. Empathy, right? Listening skills, communication skills, self-knowledge, accountability. These are all currencies, relationship currencies that I believe are marginalized. And money is put over that shit. You know how many motherfuckers will tolerate all the bullshit in the world to be quote unquote comfortable?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
Who sold out Jesus for some coins? Wasn't that his homeboy?
Yeah.
So you gotta watch your back. You gotta watch your back.
Hey, let's get this caller on the line right now. Caller, welcome to the Voice of Reason. We in here turned up right now. What do you have to say about today's topic? Speak on it.
Yo, this is Hope from Sheboygan. Can you hear me?
Sheboygan, what up,
What's
pimp?
up?
Hey.
It's Catnip Pimp. So what I wanted to contribute was we need to define terms. And the term that I've been hearing thrown around throughout the show is this word, or these two words, is we're calling ourselves men and women. I think that term is misappropriated because since we've been here in America, we've been born into a system of white supremacy, which hasn't allowed us, no matter how much wealth we've been able to acquire or whatever liberties we've been afforded, we haven't been allowed to be truly men and women. At any given point, we live in a society where a white man can come and disrupt any type of wealth we've acquired, any type of liberty we may, or anything we may have accomplished here in this society. So we need to, together as Black people, we need to understand that we are in a prison, and we need to stop holding each other accountable for being men and women, because we haven't been allowed to be that since we have been in this society. That's all I have to say, Joe.
All right, brother. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cornelia looks like she had something to say, and then Miss Peaches.
I was just listening to it because and this isn't speaking directly to that, but I always, especially when people throw out the term like she's a hoe and things like that, I take offense. And not saying this has anything to do, but when he was saying this, I was going back to that, meaning as women in this country, we've never been able to own our sexuality. Black women, we were always at the hands and at the resource of men, white men, and then that in turn became at the liberty of our mates or just all men in general. So when he was saying that we weren't able to be men and women, or the definition is a little skewed because of us and our circumstances, I kind of thought of that immediately. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't. And I be giving that little side eye because I be listening. And if I don't listen, I'm going to forget what he said. So excuse the facial expressions.
Peaches? Phone line's been ripped.
I just wanted to go back to what you guys were saying about what Mimi was saying about the funerals and Black people. You know, I buried my mom not too long ago, well, a couple years back. And what I found out when the insurance person came was that my mother lied on the insurance thing, said she didn't know nothing was wrong with her. But she had found out actually she had cancer the night before she signed the insurance policy. So my mom being street, they ain't gonna know. I could just hear her voice now. But the Christian evangelist, her confessed towards the last few days of her life. I think I lied on the insurance paper. But just to bring it back to what you guys were talking about, my brothers wanted to argue over money that wasn't there. Both of them was in jail. So when they came to me, they said, "Where's the money?" I said, "What money? We own property. Our family is 4 generations Los Angeles. They were debutantes and blah, blah. I don't give a fuck how high society my great-grands were. They left their children nothing, and they left us nothing."
You know, I wanted to add to that. My mom, I was trying to get her some life insurance, and for the longest, she argued with me. She said, "You're trying to put me in the grave. You're trying to kill me. When you talk about life insurance, that means you're about to die." I said, "No, we have to do things different. Don't you want to leave a legacy for your family? I don't care. You don't want to leave the burden on me. I'm next to kin." So finally, we got the insurance person on the phone. They're asking her questions, and she's like, "You asked me that a minute ago. You trying to play with me, nigga?" And she started cussing out the damn person. I had to hang everybody the fuck up. It took me a year to get her some insurance because she cussed out every insurance broker I put on the phone. So my point I'm making is that people are scared. Black people are scared to talk about things pertaining to death.
Reality.
The reality is we're all going to die, but sometimes people don't want to face the reality that we have to prepare for that. But preparation is everything. And that's what the white man does. They prepare because they're trying to leave a legacy for their family.
I love it. I love it.
Wealth is
Listen, this is
death.
what we're going to do real quick. And I'm going to come back to the phone lines. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. We're going to do the Zo. And we'll be back in 2.2. The Voice of Reason is on fire.
I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
Yo, so I got this two-timing chick who got her revenge from when I was on my two-time tip. And even when I tried to correct it, she couldn't get past how she was disrespected, neglected my effort, a pair with no trust, dirty games and affairs that been tearing us up. If things ain't picture perfect, is it really worth it? I have an idea, but I need to know for certain.
I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Voice of Reason. Yikes. We in here. I'm going to the phone lines for I'm taking the last caller of the whole situation. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it.
Hey, it's Denisha from Kentucky.
Denisha from Kentucky. What up, baby boo?
Hi, how y'all doing?
We good.
Good. Y'all covered a lot tonight, man. It was truly appreciated. I just want to give just something to give the people, they can reflect on. One thing I think the disharmony is coming in is because we're not coming to the next person mentally presentable.
I love it.
Another issue is we have to get to the point where we can have real conversations without trying to impose a category on a person. You see what I'm saying? And then lastly, when you talk about you attract who you are, you also attract what you judge. That's the whole universal method of teaching. So she'll give you the firsthand experience to figure out why is it, you know what I'm saying, you have just you don't like a particular thing or whatever. So, there's a lot of work to be done. But I think communication is going to have to be the biggest key. But we got to we got to give the tools, because a lot of people just weren't brought up in environments where, we talked about, how I felt when you said or when you did. It's basically swept underneath the rug because accountability is hard for people.
Right. Damn,
True.
Denisha. I appreciate that,
that's
baby
good.
boo. Finally, you got through. We appreciate the call. Call us anytime. One of our admins in the chat room just called in, Denisha from Kentucky. Thank you so much.
Kentucky Fried
Yo. Once again, we're at the end of the show. Let me just say this. We're probably 95% wrong with regards to our perspectives on today's topic. Right?
I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah,
I'm super high.
we really don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But
And y'all know I just be talking.
But the whole purpose of this show is to start the conversation, right? And people will be like, oh, there's profanity and there's this and it's just grown people talking,
Eat a dick.
grown people talk. Wow.
I'm
and
just
then that
saying.
part. Okay.
Eat it.
All right. So
Was that the
yeah.
disclaimer, Joe?
But nah, I just want to have these kind of conversations. I don't want any judgment. I want to create an environment where women can come on and speak their truth without judgment, without disrespect. You know, brothers need to learn how to listen to women better anyway and listen to them in context as opposed to trying to fix and, you know, and control and all of that shit, and vice versa. Women need to, you know, listen to men as well. So that's why we do these types of topics. So with that said, thank you for tuning in to The Voice of Reason. I'm Zoe Williams, but I also want to give my people in here an opportunity to promote what they need to promote. Cornelia?
So I can be found here on Dash as well. Thursday, 7 to 9, the No Flex Zone radio show. Zoe mentioned that earlier in case you missed it, with Flex Alexander and myself and Buddy Lewis hosting. Check my social media. I'm at Cornelia across the board, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I got shows coming up. Tonight I'm at UCB at 8. Tuesday, I'm at Flappers. Wednesday, I'm at the Pikey in Hollywood. And Thursday, I'm at Bronson Bar. So come out and get some of these jets.
There it is, Mimi.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mimi. You know I'm keeping it real. Check me out on Accelerated Radio, Thursday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Also, you can check me out on all social media platforms, Keeping It Real with Mimi. Also, you can check me out on Facebook, Michelle Dukes, and look for me on The Ladies of Death Row, coming out soon. Look for me. We coming at you, baby. What?
Whoa, 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 Miss Lips. What?
Yes.
Okay.
I want you to catch me on Facebook, baby. Every Tuesday, I do a comedy tarot card reading show. Yes. And also catch me soon on TBS, Dr. Lips. That was pitched, baby. So we praying that they greenlit that Dr. Lips, baby. You can also reach me, Miss Lips Entertainment, on IG, Miss Lips, on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you.
All right, and Peaches?
Hey, y'all, Donnie Keith is in the building. I'm going to be at the Moda Theater on the 14th. I'm going to be at the Van Nuys Comedy Club this Sunday. So if you guys are out in the Van Nuys area, come through, come get a laugh, because I'm ignorant as fuck.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason.